Look at him, his speed, his ferocity. I see Ra's al Ghul reincarnate. I see the League of Shadows. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 139, the 2021 movie preview show. I am your host, the Mayor Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Before we get started with the movie discussion, we have to go around and meet the fellow bros. As always, we start in the lab with the mad scientist Brian Banner. Now, Banner, how many more beers do you calculate you'll drink in 2021 than you did in 2020?
There's not an equation for that. You know we can't predict these things. What do you think I am, a scientist that can predict the future?
Oh.
I don't have a time machine. I would have to assume it's going to be a little bit less because I'm assuming I'm going to be driving places a little bit more.
Let's hope. I thought you were going to say less because I'm going to switch to liquor.
Well, now that is an option. It is healthier in the long run.
Is it? Even the liquor companies are like, well, who told you that?
Isn't it like a glass of wine a day keeps the doctor away? Maybe I should adopt that.
Probably just because you're too drunk to know to go in there. All right, next we go to our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. Now, Geiger, as a student of the dark ways of the Sith, if you were in a fight and your opponent clearly had the high ground and said, don't try it, what would you do?
Take a drink of my beer, wipe the sweat off my brow, and say, is this bro seriously underestimating my power? Then I'd jump, and then he'd probably cut off my legs. I'd be a paraplegic. But then I could use the Sith to win the Special Olympics next year.
Nice. It's funny what you just said, and we love the guy, but that was better acting than Hayden Christensen actually in that scene delivered.
You know the kid, like, I don't make fun of people that like can't read good, but you know the kid in like middle school that always got called upon, and he would like read like he was talking, like, and it was like a story. Like, could you just like kind of church it up? That is basically Star Wars episode 1 through 3. It's just that kid reading like the story.
It's like, I don't need you to do like the voices when you're reading, but at least don't sound like you're being held at gunpoint. And then you'd ask your English teacher, like, why the fuck do you always call on this kid? You hear it too. You have to. Teachers.
You're always uneasy when you call on him. It's like, oh, don't call on Jeffrey. He can't read that well.
God damn, look how long this paragraph is, too.
You're just doing this to be a dick, aren't you? Come on.
All right, well, if you have not listened to our show before, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. And our chest day topic tonight is, as you saw in the title of this, our 2021 movie year preview. Now, we're going to do a little wrinkle with this. So we're each going to go over our most anticipated film of the year, our biggest sleeper movie of the year, what we think will be our biggest flop of the year, and then any honorable mentions we want to talk about. But I have also dug up our predictions from 2019, where we predicted for 2020, for the previous year, where we predicted our most anticipated, biggest sleeper, and biggest flops. And typically we've talked about our previous year's predictions on the movie wrap-up show, which we just did in episode 138. But since half these movies literally just did not come out in theaters from last year, I think it makes more sense to combine them with this episode. Banner, are you okay with that methodology?
Of course. What'd you say?
Thank you. Geiger, how about you? You're cool with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check out our other episodes we've done on this, usually we just rub someone's nose in it if they didn't see it, but this year we all kind of get a pass, sadly.
Yeah. Banner, I'm sorry the pandemic didn't happen when A Space Between Us came out in theaters.
Hey, I saw it.
Like 3 years later.
I still saw it. And I liked it.
It was fine.
If you want to hear our 2020 movie preview, it is episode 98. So you can find that on iTunes or YouTube, wherever you listen to us. But this is our movie preview show for 2021. And we always like to get it started off on a positive note. Our most anticipated films. Now, Geiger, we'll go to you first. But
awesome.
To just roll back the clock, your two most anticipated films from last year did not come out. So you get a pass. You went with Top Gun Maverick and the Denis Villeneuve-directed Dune, which as of today, we're not sure if it's coming to HBO Max or theaters, but hopefully both of these movies come out next year. So before you actually say yours for 2021, what were your thoughts on those picks a year later?
I mean, Dune's the one with the stellar cast. Like, it has Momoa, Dave not that Dave Bautista is that stellar, but Oscar Isaac, I believe.
Yes, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin,
Yeah, there's a lot of great
Chalamet.
and Top Gun 2, I think we're all. I'm not saying it's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be the funnest movie of the year, though. So
I'm really pumped to go see that in theaters.
but I'm going a different direction, Jeff, because I think we lied to our listeners. And not one of those where we just got drunk and didn't really read fun facts and movie commentaries. I don't think the year of the doc. I think it's this year.
Wow.
And that's because we have it's in a couple weeks on HBO Max. I had HBO Max for free. I'm paying for it just to watch this documentary. It's a 2-part Tiger Woods documentary, which I'm very, very excited about. Now, this other one, I did not know that was coming out until I was looking at the most anticipated movies of 2020. And that is The Beatles Get Back.
Yeah.
Which apparently has hours of like behind the scenes footage, which, listen, Elvis, Johnny Cash, like some of these stories have just been beaten to death that we get it. But the Beatles has never had a movie. And they've never, with the year of the rock movies, when, Elton John's movie came out, Queen's movie came out, we haven't got a Beatles one. And this is actually a documentary where you can see like possibly John and Paul just like writing a song and like smoking weed together and stuff. I'm very interested in this. So as a classic rock historian, I love the Beatles. Like they're not like my favorite band of all time, but I respect their greatness. And I'm looking forward to this.
Are they overrated?
No. Thurman like should have been kicked off. We should have taken percentage of the money he makes off this pod for saying that. And this is someone that me and Britton aren't on talking terms. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, what Matt Geiger say? What's he got running around his mouth? Oh, we respect the Beatles, do you? All right. Matt, I hate to tell you this, but Disney Plus actually, Peter Jackson did he released a 5-minute clip from the movie on there that I've watched at least 2 times. It's awesome.
So awesome.
Is it going to be on Disney Plus? I didn't see what it.
I'm not sure.
It made it seem like it was going to theaters.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to Disney Plus, but the clip is just like you described. It's the Beatles just fucking around in the recording studio, recording. It's awesome. It's like John and Paul and obviously the rest of them just very candid. It's almost like the cameras aren't there. Paul's daughter's there. She's like 4. Yoko's there, which if I were Ringo, I'd be like, what the fuck is shit you never recorded in studio?
It's so interesting, man. It's like, and I can't remember exactly the year, but I think the Beatles were only a band for like 9 years. Just fucking wrap your head around that.
Yeah. So they made like 3 movies, right? That's
it like all the great songs. Like, what if they didn't break up? Like, it'll be extremely interesting. I want to see where they go with it. Just like an Ali documentary. Like, are they going to start at the beginning? Are they going to go to their solo careers? John Lennon kind of and his problems with the United States government. Like, where are we going with all of this? Very interested in this.
Yeah, Peter Jackson, he did there was like a short, like 45-second intro he has to the clip. And he said that it took him like 7 years, him and his editor, to go over. They had like, I don't know how, but 600 hours of footage that no one had seen before.
We have to think of
Where
the
do people keep all this footage at?
I think it's because nobody just wanted to take time and like, well, once again, we have to thank The Last Dance because we're like, dude, we have the attention span for a 10-parter. If you have enough fucking behind the scenes footage, we want all of it. Most of the time people are probably like, dude, I don't know how to cram all this in 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a compelling story or compelling like characters people we want to see, like shit, you could have done 4 episodes just on Rothman on The Last Dance.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Easily.
You had like a 6-part OJ documentary, and I fucking loved every ounce of it. It's interesting.
The Tiger Woods one actually might even be out. I don't know if it comes out this weekend.
I think it's the 23rd or something. It's only 2 parts, which I'm kind of, I could have went with a 4-parter on him.
Do we know is HBO Max doing like 1 part 1 week and then the second part the other, or are they both?
I think so, or a couple days apart or something like that.
Nice. All right, Banner, over to you. Your 2 most anticipated films from last year. One of these didn't even come out, but we still need to give you shit for it, just like we did at the time you said it. You went with Jungle Cruise, starring The Rock and Emily Blunt. That your ass honestly got saved that wasn't released. You can push it off for another year. Then you also said the Kenneth Branagh directed sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, which I actually think looks really good. Reader too. So a year later, what do you think about those picks?
I'm fine with them. Death on the Nile still on my list this year. I don't know if it's my most anticipated, but I definitely want to see it. I love the first one. And again, we got a star-studded cast with this one coming back. Obviously, Brenna, you have Gal Gadot, among others.
Armie Hammer, Shuri Wright from Black Panther is in it.
Yeah, because I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to lean on you to tell people what I just said.
Russell Brand. Matt and mine are big Russell Brand fans.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's, like I said last year, I think it's going to be awesome. I think you can't go wrong. Kenneth Branagh, I think, is a super underrated director. He's fantastic.
Agreed. I don't like him when he does his Russian accent. Like in Tenet, it was really bothering me the whole time. But I do like him as an actor as well.
Yeah, I think he's great as an actor. And, I mean, as Hercules, whatever his name is, in this, he was fantastic in the original. So
yes, agreed.
I'm very, very excited to see him reprising the role. I'll comment on Jungle Cruise. Look, is it going to be good? Probably not. Do I want to see it? Of course I do. I grew up with going on the ride. It's one of my favorite rides. You see the eighth wonder of the world, the backside of water. All you people that have been to Disneyland will get that. And it's going to be fun. That's all it is. Okay.
It's with The Rock and Kevin Hart?
No, he's not in it.
And The Rock is like he's like what, the boat guy?
Captain. Yeah, he's a boat captain in the Amazon.
So are there like a bunch of weights on the boat? Or
is exactly what you said last year. This is so funny. Matt said,
really? Okay, because
Banner goes, it's based on a ride, and Matt goes, so when does the Teacup movie come out? The spinning teacups. But then Matt was like, all right, but I actually did like Pirates of the Caribbean, so...
Honestly, before this pod, when movies like that came out, I'd go to the theater and I'd see those posters. I'm like, who the hell goes to those? And then after this pod, I was like, Brian Banner. That's who goes to those.
Yep, that's right.
And then he asked your manager, "Are you guys selling these posters, or what's going to happen when?"
Can I just take this one?
All right, Brian. What's your most anticipated for this year?
So this year, I'm switching gears a little bit, and maybe this is just because we recently did a commentary on the original. That's Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I'm just super jacked for it. Whether it's going to be good or not, I have no idea. I honestly haven't looked that much up about it, but you tell me there's a Mortal Kombat movie coming out, and I'm getting really excited. Pretty sure it's getting released on HBO Max, which is even more exciting.
Why don't we have a trailer for this yet? That's what's bothering me. Justin Lin directed it.
A separate conversation, but I'm thinking about just dumping Netflix for. You could get like 3 other streaming services for Netflix right now, and they're not coming out with shit. Honestly,
Netflix. You got
HBO Max is coming at it hard this year.
HBO Max is.
They're bringing it.
And I know you felt the pull to the dark side to sign up for Disney Plus.
There's been talks. It's like
there are negotiations right now.
There's more talks than usual, so it might actually happen this time. Banner, that's a great pick. I looked at that for a while, but then I'm like, God, but then if the trailer comes out and it's dog shit, I'm gonna have to watch it. So I just decided to not
see. And for me, if it's dog shit, that's a non-factor. I'll watch it anyway.
Do a nice commentary on it.
If they go R and have real fatalities, like if someone rips somebody's heart out, I mean, I'll go see it twice just for
honestly, if they just like update the last one, like the one that came out, what was that, like 93, 94?
I think 94.
Like that. I don't remember.
Check out our movie commentary on that one, by the way.
If they just updated like the effects and stuff that they did in that one, it's not gonna be that bad. I'm still gonna have fun in it.
I'm always a bigger Street Fighter fan. I just like their characters better. But who knows, man? There might be an after credits scene where Blanca just shows up.
Holy shit! Don't even. God, that'd be fucking awesome.
All right,
tease my dick like that.
I could see Matt standing in like the hallway on the side of the theater, and Blanca shows up, and he goes, "What?"
Shoving my wife. Fucking, you see that?
All right, my most anticipated last year was Tenet by Christopher Nolan. I said it would put Nolan back on top. And I saw this movie, and we've talked about it at length, but I wasn't that big a fan of Tenet, mainly because I just don't know what the fuck happened in the movie.
It's kind of true, Jeff. I mean, it did make the most money of any movie in the theater.
Yeah, and it was a very well-made film. I think I like it better than Interstellar. I don't know. I don't understand either of them, so it's really hard for me to say. And my most anticipated for this year, I kind of went chalk. Like these are kind of low-hanging fruit. But I'm gonna be so drunk in this next movie that I'm about to say in the theaters that you're gonna have to like drag me out. And that's Godzilla vs. Kong on May
God, you've been on this
21st.
shit for like 4 years.
You're on its dick so hard.
I'm gonna be taking bets in the bar in front of the theater beforehand. Like, who you got? Who you got?
Who's
give you-
favored? It depends if it's. I mean, if it's on Skull Island, I mean that's home field advantage for Kong. But are they allowing other apes? Coronavirus.
I was gonna
as
say
long
we
as they
all
have a
we all
map.
know Kong travels well.
Yeah, but are they allowing other apes in attendance?
I think they will, as long as they're 6 feet apart while they kill each other.
Yeah, they're
They should
only
be-
going to be
when's it
they're
coming
only
out?
going
They
to
should all
be
be vaccinated by
25% occupying.
May 21st, so I think
Oh,
we'll
they'll all be vaccinated by then. They'll be fine.
Um, this one we need to get a trailer for soon too. Although I have to say this, this is one of those Warner Brothers movies. You know, Warner Brothers said everything's coming to HBO Max. Now they're kind of starting to back off that a little bit. If this is in theaters and HBO Max, I will go see it in theaters. Like 100%. This is a theater experience.
Of course.
And I'll be the douchebag clapping in the movie theater, so you'll know if I'm in your theater.
That's one that by that time I can get a babysitter and I might want to go see it with you because
Dude,
that
yes,
just
you
sounds
have
fun.
to. Can't make me go to Godzilla vs. Kong by myself.
I will never bitch about going to shitty movies ever again after not being able to go to a theater for like 10 months.
Exactly. And my other one, and I know, Matt, you and Brian have kind of both waffled on how excited you are for this one, but I just think the team behind the previous one is so competent, and I still think there's a little bit of juice left in this franchise, and that's Halloween Kills coming out in October. I know the way the last one ended, we were all kind of like, really? Like the last 2 seconds is what I mean. Not like the actual ending of the movie, but I'm intrigued. Color me intrigued. And I think this could be, no one's talking about this, but if they stick to the script for the first one, like keep it dark, I mean, I know the continuity's been changed up like 6 times, but keep the timeline you have. I think there's something there.
I just don't like having the girl be, unless she's like more of like a Carrie. Like she can't put on the mask though.
Yeah, I'm not
It's like
sure.
Michael Scott when Daryl wanted to be Santa. Have you seen Santa?
Yeah. You can't say, I need this, and then grab someone and try to pull them onto your lap. It doesn't make sense.
I just feel like after Halloween, like we were all giving it shit because we're like, oh, so we're supposed to forget the last 25 years of movies that you guys made? It was like, what, in 9 movies? And then we all were eating our words like, oh, wow, this was really fucking good.
That was great.
Just stop while you're on top. We don't need to milk this anymore.
But that's
especially
not how
with, like you
works.
said, with how it ended.
We have no other franchise at Halloween though. That's the only one that's like Saw's dead. Like the Final Destinations that are dead. Like we have nothing else.
Although Saw Spiral is coming out. I'll just get one of my honorable mentions out, which is like a reimagining in the same universe this Halloween too. All right, on to our biggest sleeper. So Banner, last year you went with Mulan for yours.
Well, that
Has he
worked
even
out
woken
well
up
for me.
yet?
And we were all a little bit apprehensive because we knew that the music was being taken out and Mushu was being taken out, which, you know, I know people can take or leave Mushu, but the music, like Make a Man Out of You, is one of the greatest Disney songs ever made.
Ever.
And I think, Banner, I know, you saw Mulan, right?
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it.
Okay, I think the best way to describe it is just completely uninspired and heartless. Like there's just no one
Yeah.
making the movie is like pumped up to make the movie.
I also feel like we were so exhausted by the time it actually came out. If it came out in March when it was supposed to come out, we would have liked it a little bit better. But it kept getting pushed. It was, oh, July, oh, November, oh, now we're gonna drop it on Disney Plus, but you still have to pay for it, and it's just everything around it, all the semantics that went along with the movie were going so far against it. By the time we actually got a chance to watch it, we were like, wow, there was all this worry and hoopla for this. Get the fuck out of here.
And I think we have enough of a sample size now to say the Disney live action movies are just meh, you know? Like, is the best one Aladdin? I think it is. We said this last year too.
I don't know. Beauty and the Beast is really good.
Yeah.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Cinderella's pretty good too. It's solid.
So Banner, what's your biggest sleeper for 2021?
The King's Man.
Good pick.
The first two Kingsman movies are awesome. You got action, you got comedy, you've got everything that you want in that kind of movie. This is obviously a spin-off prequel of those. Nobody really talked about any of the Kingsman movies when they came out, but I haven't met anybody that I've asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a really good movie." So I think this has everything going for it. Again, I have a good feeling about it. I'm going guts this year. In
The trailer looked really cool, and I like Ray Fiennes a lot. He's not in enough stuff, I gotta say.
And Matthew Vaughn is coming back to direct, which, I mean, again, he's done fantastic with the other one. So I don't know, can't go wrong.
Is he? I don't know if this has been revealed. Is Ray Fiennes' character the one? Is he like Colin Firth's mentor, or like the guy who trained him? Maybe.
I'm assuming that that's what we're gonna find out in the movie, but I don't know that we know necessarily.
Well, I need to know right this second.
Okay, then yes, you're right.
All right, thank you. All right, on to you, Geiger. Your biggest sleeper last year. You had two of them. The Gentleman, which I totally agree with.
We actually saw that.
Yeah,
that
look
came
for
out
that.
in January. Okay.
Yeah, look for that at the Broscars. I fucking love that movie. Did you like that movie?
I did. Yeah, it was great. I honestly totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah, because it was like literally maybe the first week of January.
Yeah, we saw.
Like I thought that came out in 2016.
Yeah.
And then another one you picked, which was not released, was Morbius with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I told you to give up the Jared Leto train. It's not happening.
I'm still interested in that film. I think it will be good. I'm not picking it though this year.
It's gonna be something.
I'm more interested in it now than I was previously. I think I'm more excited for every movie because I just miss movies. But Matt, what's your biggest sleeper?
I hope I don't steal yours, Jeff. Couldn't read show notes, but this seems like something you'd be into. Judas and the Black Messiah. This movie looks fucking awesome. It's about the Black Panther,
right?
Yep, pretty much the alumni from Get Out. It's also the God, I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy that gets his identity stolen.
Yes, I'm looking at it.
And it's about the Black Panther Party. Jesse Plemons is in it. This it's coming out in February, Black History Month. This just looks like a fucking adrenaline rush. And honestly, any movie in the 60s has my attention just because that is, I don't know, after going through 2020 and we haven't even got our new president in, we might be looking at movies in the 60s. We're like, oh, that's not really that big a deal. But still, it's pretty fucking cool, the American history. And we've not had a movie about the Black Panther Party at all. We've had a bunch of civil rights movies in the 60s, but not any about the Black Panther. The only movie I think the Black Panthers are in is Forrest Gump that I can think of. So I'm very interested in this movie. Very well acted. Looks like the trailer's already out. It's supposed to come out last year, bumping to 2021. And I will definitely be seeing it in theaters if it comes in there. If not, I'll try to catch it on a streaming service.
Yeah, that's one that, I mean, get your early Oscar bets in now.
Yes.
For that, for sure.
It may come out too early for people to remember it, unfortunately. A lot of movies that come out in January, February, we forget that they come out.
Yeah. I don't even know what they're doing with the Oscars this year.
Nobody does. They don't even know.
Yeah, they haven't said anything. But I can promise you the Broscars will still happen, which is all that really matters.
I would just like Ricky Gervais just to go up there and just steamroll everyone for 2 hours and say goodnight.
Yeah, like we don't even have awards. So I'm just gonna come up here. Like, then why did Meryl Streep's like, why did I show up?
Yeah.
All right, my biggest sleeper last year was The Devil All the Time, which actually ended up coming out on Netflix. It's that movie with Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson. I didn't see it because Cycly saw it and said he could take it or leave it. So I don't know if this is the space between us levels. Well, that was your most anticipated, right? When you didn't see it. This is just a...
I don't remember. Yeah, it might have been my most anticipated.
Sleeper is one you think that, might be okay, and then you watch and you're like Get Out. We were like, this might be okay. We're like, this is the greatest fucking movie I've seen in 10 years.
Yeah. So my biggest sleeper for 2021 was actually one of my honorable mentions from last year. And it's a movie coming out on May 28th called Infinite. And it stars Mark Wahlberg, Dylan O'Brien, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who did The Equalizer, and he's done Training Day. He did like a couple Denzel movies. The plot is A man discovers that his hallucinations are actually visions from his past lives. And I think Wahlberg taking this role seriously, this is what I said last year. If he clocks in and actually hustles, I think we got something here.
He's the star?
He's first billed, so I believe so. Either probably him or Dylan O'Brien.
I don't know if these are dreams or fantasies, okay?
I don't know. I'm seeing dreams and visions, and now it's like, now I can understand it.
I think I've had past lives. I'm just questioning my Christianity, okay?
Like, all right,
Say hi to your mother for me.
I'm just trying to heat up my lunch. I don't really want to this done. Another one I have is a movie called Deep Water, which comes out in August.
Almost did this one.
Yeah, this sounds like, it kind of sounds like a Gone Girl ripoff, but then I saw Ben Affleck is actually in it again. So I was like, all right, well, I'm a little confused, but I like the first one. Not that they're sequels. The plot for Deep Water is a well-to-do husband who allows his wife to have affairs in order to avoid a divorce becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers.
So Gone Girl?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas are in it. Has me very intrigued. I'm kind of fucked up considering what I picked for my biggest sleeper movies. I need some help. At home.
Fine. After 2020, you're all right.
All right, last category.
I should have just done 80. I'm like, there's no way 80 of these will come out anyway. Who cares?
Throw a bunch of shit against the wall, see what sticks. Our last category, which is one of my favorites, are biggest flops. So these can either be ones that you think will bomb at the box office or critically. So if you think that it's going to come out and just get absolutely panned by people, good pick here. Matt, you went with Sonic the Hedgehog and Fast 9. So one of two came out. I saw Sonic the Hedgehog, and as I frequently like to describe films like that, it was harmless. Didn't hurt anybody.
Did Knuckles get teased at the end?
I'm not going to reveal that to you. Maybe there was a post-credit scene that maybe you would have liked. And obviously Fast 9 wasn't released. You did, one reason that you actually said behind Sonic being a flop was, and I think we can all agree with this, it was pretty embarrassing that they pushed the movie back a year to redesign the character because the internet complained. That was kind of fucking pathetic.
Never a good start.
Other movie studios are like, you can't cave to this, dude. You're going to cost all of us some money. Now we have to like do the same.
He did look like a little wet rodent. He didn't. I mean,
I know.
Like, well, he's got to look like a real hedgehog. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He's got to look like the cartoon character. That's
right.
what he's got to look like.
Yeah, we all bitched about it on pod, and then I think Banner was like, I mean, he does look way better. And we were all like, yeah, I mean, completely. All right, so Matt, what's your biggest flop or flops for 2021?
I hate doing this. I'm not like a huge fan of this franchise, but there was a time in my life that I fucking love this. And I think with cancel culture and where we're at as a society, I can't believe they're still making these movies. But Jackass 4, I just don't see, like, the people that would go see it are like us that have like kids. Like, we're not like, are we really going to pay for a babysitter to go see fucking Jackass 4? I just don't, I don't think our wives will go for that.
In my notes, I have a category for why movies. This falls at the top of that list.
Like, I mean, these guys are all old. Like, what are we doing this for? I know a lot of you need money.
It is just sad now, right? Like with
Steve-O
I don't.
You know, when they're young and shit, like even Bam Margera, like I don't want to see, like when he was like kind of 25 living at home and I was in middle school, I'm like, this is kind of funny. But now he's like probably like 48. Like, is he still going to fuck with his dad? Like,
I was going to say, all these guys are pushing 50, if not past it. I don't want to see a bunch of 50-year-old hitting each other in the nuts.
And Steve-O, who's like, you know, sober now, and he's probably gonna tell his sad story. Like, I'm just kind of over it, man. I know why they're doing it. It's money, but I don't know who's gonna go see it. Like, that's gotta flop, especially with everything coming out. Like, who's gonna go see Jackass 4?
Well, and to your point, we would be the demographic, right? Like, we're
Absolutely.
the ones who
And when's the last time? I'm sure they're streaming somewhere, but there's 3 other Jackass movies. When have you sat down and watched a Jackass movie in the last 10 years? I don't think I have one.
What's the third one?
I know I've gotten old and boring because that stuff just kind of makes me uncomfortable now. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it had its time where it's funny, but now it's like Punk'd. If I watch that show, I'm like, oh, this is kind of good. At the time, it was awesome, but the time's gone. I don't understand why they're doing this at all. I don't know who's going to see it.
Yeah, because if it's not us, I mean, maybe there's another group of young us's out there who are like retro interested in Jackass, but I doubt it's enough to actually make this thing make money.
Honestly, I
Actually,
always thought the movie sucked. I like the TV show a lot better.
yeah. I didn't even know that was coming out. So
Yeah.
thank you for enlightening me. Banner, your biggest flop, and I think this is probably the most correct thing we had of all of our predictions last year, as much as I hate to give you credit. You said Doolittle, starring Robert Downey Jr. And then Matt went on this whole rant that we all agreed with. It was just like, what is Downey doing? Like, do more. We said, do more movies like The Judge, not this bullshit with a weird accent.
I actually forgot that I said that. And if I remember correctly, on last week's year end review, I said that was the worst movie of the year. If I'm
Probably.
not mistaken.
Downey's sober now. Do you think he remembers that movie came out this year?
Ah, man, I don't know.
I don't know.
However much money he got paid for it, that's what your pride costs, apparently. Good follow-up to Endgame. Fucking Doolittle. Banner, what's your biggest flop or flops for 2021?
I'm going to say Free Guy.
Yep. This
Wow.
movie looks like it's fucking sucks.
The idea of the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It's a neat idea. You can't make a movie out of that, but it's a neat idea. And then you see the trailer and it just, I don't even want to say this looks like a paycheck for Ryan Reynolds because I actually think he's into it. It just doesn't look good.
So have we lost faith in Taika Waititi?
He's not directing it though, is he?
He wrote it, I believe. And I know he's in it.
I know he's in it. I don't know. I still think it looks bad.
Maybe he's just in it. Yeah, he's
I
not a
don't-
writer on it. You're
If
right.
he wrote it, I will probably be eating my words in 11 and a half months.
I'm going to say something controversial about my boy, too, because I love Ryan Reynolds, but his stick's getting a little old.
Which is crazy because we actually haven't seen it in so long, but I kind of agree. Like when he shows
It-
back up, I'm like, yeah.
Because
okay.
he's in another movie that's coming out on Netflix
with The
with
Rock.
The
Red
Rock
Witch,
and
Gal
Gal
Gadot.
Gadot.
Mm-hmm.
He's also doing Hitman's Bodyguard 2 with
Why?
Sam Jackson. Great point.
Who asked for this?
Is there another podcast where they just ask for all these shitty movies to be made that we
They
need
should,
to like,
they should honestly, like, whenever they have that, like, poster, someone should just be in the theater, like, who asked for this? Like, literally. Who's
You remember
kid is
when-
this?
I think maybe the best like fake movie poster I've ever seen was when North Korea threatened to like blow up the US if the interview came out. And Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 came out the same weekend and someone was like, the tagline should be, where's North Korea when you need that?
Yeah. I
Like,
want
can
you to blow me up in this.
Yeah, can you threaten this film so it doesn't go to theaters? You're out on Free Guy, really. I'm not gonna like hang my hat on Free Guy or fight on the hill and die on it for it, but I kind of thought the trailer looked interesting and funny.
Here's the thing. We know that video game movies don't work.
No.
Right?
When they're based on a video game.
I understand. When they're
Like,
based
you know,
on a
like
video
Wreck-It
game,
Ralph.
they don't work. Wreck-It Ralph was good, but it's Pixar, so he gets a free pass.
I guess.
Banner's in bed with Pixar, so
Well, obviously.
Pixar knows where he buried the body is the problem.
if we confiscated Banner's laptop, we'd find a lot of very bad things about Pixar and DreamWorks and
I think, are you as loyal? You're not as loyal to DreamWorks, right? You would sell them.
No. Fuck DreamWorks.
I think Banner has like they like pay his fucking car payment or something. Pixar does.
What? Just because I have that big yellow ball on the side of my truck does not mean they're paying for it. I just like that ball.
Did you have anything besides Free Guy for flop?
No. I do have one for, I'm not really sure where this goes, but I feel like it needs to be talked about.
That sounds like an honorable mention coming up.
Okay, is that what we're doing next?
Yeah.
Okay.
My biggest flops last year, I'd say I went like 1.5 out of 2. I said Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. I mean, that's not even fair, right? It looks-
Did anybody see that in the world?
Jeff
I
did.
saw like the first hour of it. I was
Oh.
kind of like working while it was on, so I don't really. Guy Pearce showed up. It was ridiculous.
Jeff would have rather worked after the hour.
Exactly.
He's like, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to do these TPS reports.
And the black guy from New Girl was in it, and he had a British accent. And I looked it up. I was like, "Is this guy British?" And he's not. And it made like no, like, why do you cast him?
There's so many.
Was it
black
at least
British
a good
actors.
British accent?
No, it was pretty bad. I feel like they were like, "Listen, man, we really wanted Idris Elba in this role, but like, we're not made of money. So could you just kind of talk like him, and maybe no one will know the difference?" Like, I guess. And then the other one I picked, which I actually ended up liking, and I mentioned this a couple podcasts ago, was New Mutants. Just because it had so much going against it. We had talked about this on our 2017 movie preview show. And it had still, we basically said, all right, it's been reshot twice, pushed back. Disney just bought Fox. It's like, it's a fucking mess. But it was fine. It wasn't like great, but it's definitely not the worst X-Men movie I've seen in the last 10 years. Now, my biggest flop for 2021. All right, I got two, and one I don't even really need to justify, but Space Jam: A New Legacy. I mean, look, if I'm bad-mouthing a Space Jam movie, I just don't think there's an audience for it. Number one, I know HBO Max has introduced some new Looney Tunes, but do any kids know or care who the fuck they are?
Are any kids watching HBO Max? It's like one question. I don't even know if I'm old enough to watch HBO Max.
Yeah. I mean, like, do kids... Banner, I guess Baby Banner's too young, but like, do kids know who Bugs Bunny is?
I don't think so. And I would even argue our generation was like the 17th hole for Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Our generation was like the last generation that would know him. And the other thing is, you know, it's on like Boomerang and stuff, but I think we watch Boomerang more than kids watch Boomerang.
Dude, kids can't watch that information. The other thing is LeBron James, unlike Michael Jordan, he wants too badly to be in this movie. It was kind of cool how Michael Jordan like sort of didn't really give a fuck about Space Jam. You know what I'm saying? That like made it real. LeBron James is like, yeah, I'll miss practice to be in that thing. You think Jordan had them build a fucking gym for him to play other NBA players while they filmed it?
That's probably the most un-Jordan-like thing he's ever done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which made it like so cool.
Like, wonder how they got him to do that. Remember, he wasn't even in video games.
They paid him a fuck ton of money.
I mean, yeah, but wouldn't video games pay him a lot too? But remember, like the Bulls would just have number 99, and he was fucking stoppable.
Kobe Bryant's NBA courtside, the Bulls have a guy named Roster Player who's just like fucking unstoppable. He's number 99 also. He's like 97 overall and everything. I'm like, who's Roster Player? Jesus. And then my other one, and this is directed by Steven Spielberg, and these days that's just a big wet fart noise. Like, he only makes films that the Academy will come calling for. And that is West Side Story. Have you learned nothing from Cats? Don't fucking try it. All right?
Would this be more like La La Land, though, you think?
I don't know. If Damien Chazelle was doing it, then maybe I'd give him a chance. But it's Spielberg. This already reeks of Oscar bait, and I haven't even seen a poster for it yet.
This is just going to be a film that literally no one likes, but the Academy thinks is brilliant and is going to clean up, probably.
God.
Has Spielberg done another like musical movie? Or even a movie that has a musical element to it?
It's a really good question. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
I don't think so. Dude, musical movies just don't really sell that much. Like, not many people do them.
But it's like an iconic IP. Obviously, like the original West Side Story, and you know the play is huge. I don't know.
I'm with you on this. This is another one of those why movies.
Well, we know why. I mean, stroke his ego. So I think that's gonna be my biggest flop.
We should do a commentary on Cats.
That's has to happen. Yeah. The butthole cut. Have you heard about that?
No.
All the cats originally had buttholes in the movie, and the studio was like, "You have to edit these out, dude." So they had to go.
You think that ruined some guy's weekend? Like he was going to the beach all day with his buddies for Memorial Weekend. He's like, I can't go. It's like, we had this plan for months. Like, I got to remove all the cats' buttholes before we go to post-production.
Butthole erasing weekend.
God, he's like, and honestly, like, there's a lot of them in there. This so like I can't.
Like so many. Honestly, they actually had me work overtime to add them, and now I got to take them all away.
I got to take them out. That's how my boss fucking operates. All right, on to our honorable mentions for 2021. Geiger, we'll let you go first. Anything that either didn't fit in those categories or you just really want to talk about for any other reason.
I got like 4, but they're all the same pretty much. I'm going DC right here. So we got Justice League. Black Adam is set to come out apparently this year. Another Suicide Squad movie, and the Batman's supposed to come out this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Actually, I think that got pushed to 22.
Okay, I'll throw that one out then.
Yeah.
Justice League, I'm interested in.
I'm excited for this.
I just want to see what Snyder's, because he was flirting. I say what you want about Batman vs Superman, but he was flirting with ideas that I would like to see follow through on. At least he has a fucking idea and a plan for 8 movies. He's not just throwing shit against the wall. And if it doesn't work, he basically gets rid of 4 characters and keeps Margot Robbie. I'm interested in seeing this. That's another reason I'm going to get HBO Max. Black Adam is another, like, why, I guess. What do we need? Is he going to fight Superman? Is Henry Cavill Superman anymore?
I actually think they said Shazam might be in this one.
I mean, of course he fights Shazam, but I mean, if we're part of a universe, I mean, Black Adam fights Superman too in the comics. Like,
yeah, but they couldn't even get Cavill to come back for Shazam, so they just shot like him from the neck down. So at this point, I don't. Which is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard of.
He's like, "You want me to leave the Witcher set to do this?" No, I don't think so.
Can I keep the wig on? Actually, you know what, Henry, just don't come. What about the mustache? We're not doing this again.
And Suicide Squad, that's a big why banner. Like, we already had Birds of Prey, and they actually wanted another just Harley Quinn Joker movie. Now we're doing another Suicide Squad. Like, why? What are we doing?
Was it Birds of Prey? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, say the full title.
I don't know the full title. We don't have time for the full title.
It was called Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, was what they changed it to.
2 weeks
I thought it
after
was a sentence after that or something too.
Yeah,
anyway.
The fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn or something.
So DC could have, they're already off to a bad start because Wonder Woman 84 sucked. Like, and honestly, I don't even know if Pattinson's the Batman's going to be good, because if Suicide Squad taught me anything, it's like, just because you have one cool trailer doesn't mean shit, because they could honestly just get a new fucking director in there and just change everything. So I think this is the year where afterwards they're going to be like, listen, we're going to come out with the Batman and Pattinson, and if that hits, we're just going to basically do like a trilogy on that, like Bale, but we're just giving up on the universe. I think this is the year they're going to do that.
So the Suicide Squad is interesting because it's written and directed by James Gunn, but there's a lot of, like, it's very nebulous on how or if it connects to the original, which just always bothers me, like, when they don't know. They've recast Deadshot with Idris Elba, replacing Will Smith, and of course John Cena is in it. But then Joel Kinnaman and Margot Robbie are back. Like, I don't really...
Who's Cena playing?
Actually, Cena's character, I'll have to look it up. He's getting his own HBO Max series.
God damn it.
What?
Yeah,
so HBO Max is going to be basically like Disney Plus for Marvel. Let me say you something about Marvel.
Peacemaker, that's who he plays.
So everyone's saying, oh, James Gunn. I'm going to tell you something about Marvel. Marvel is basically the Patriots. They have a system, and it doesn't really matter who you get in there. They're going to be good. And you know how everyone like gets like fucking Matt LaFleur and like, or not Matt Patricia and all these people like, oh, he's a Patriot. And then once they do their own thing, they suck. That's
they get
DC.
Fired, yeah.
They don't have any vision. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, it's just, you get so much more excited about these projects when you know there is like a roadmap behind them. I actually had the Suicide Squad as an honorable mention, and the Beatles Get Back. I don't have any honorable mentions now because we already talked about them. Which is totally fine. Banner, what do you have for honorable?
The only one I have, which I'm going to eat my words because not 10 minutes ago, I talked about how video game movies don't work and they suck. With that being said, I want to see Uncharted.
Me too.
I love the games. They're a ton of fun. And I feel like Tom Holland is going to fit right into this.
I think him and Wahlberg could be a fun dynamic.
I think they could be a lot of fun, but this is another one of those, we need Wahlberg to take it seriously. We can't just have him running around like
we're like scolding. Fucking try, dude.
Yeah. But if we get a Wahlberg that was it Instant Family, where he like kind of tried, but he was still able to be his, self, his like goofy, silly.
We need the Departed Wahlberg.
Don't we? Yeah, just in everything.
We're never gonna get that back though. So yeah, that's something I'm kind of excited for, but I didn't know where to put it in because it wasn't a sleeper, it wasn't the biggest flop. It's not going to be good enough to be most anticipated.
So I'm wondering who is actually playing Nathan Drake? Is Holland a young Nathan Drake?
I think so.
Okay, because they could both. I mean, Holland's probably better fit for it, but I could see either of them as Nathan Drake, really.
I think Holland is going to be Nathan Drake, and I think Wahlberg is going to be
Whoever his mentor is.
Yeah, this in the game, it's a guy named Sully.
Such a long play casting Holland. They're like, dude, we're gonna get 6 fucking movies out of this thing.
I mean, no. I see this being like a Tomb Raider, the original ones. We're like, they were fine, and we were able to get 2 of them, but let's not beat it to death.
I actually just thought of one. Speaking of Tom Holland, that I mean, it's on everyone's radar. It's not a surprise, but I have to say, Spider-Man 3, based on everything I'm hearing, really, really has me excited. Like the multiverse theory and potentially seeing Garfield and Maguire and, obviously Cumberbatch is in it and, potentially that's how they get Deadpool in the MCU. I just think this movie could be almost like Avengers Endgame level epic in terms of like who shows up in it. And I was really against the multiverse concept at first. I was like, I don't know, man, that just seems like a cheap way to try and get these guys in the movie, but I'm like really, really buying into it now. So
if they can actually pull it off and get all of these people to come back and do this, that is going to be a feat in itself. Whether it's a good movie or not, you have to give them respect for getting everybody.
This just goes to show time heals all wounds. I mean, Affleck's coming back in Flashpoint. Andrew Garfield, who seemed like he wanted to fucking quit acting after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's going to come back.
I mean, Affleck could still be Batman. They haven't gotten a new Batman. I mean, Pattinson technically, but that's not even the same universe.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's his pretty much probably as long as he wants it. Oh, God.
No one will know until the movie comes out, and they decide if people like it or not.
DC's like, no, we're asking because we actually don't. We're not sure. So if you figure it out, let us know. All right. That is our 2021 movie preview portion of the show. Anything you guys want to leave with before we move on to our protein shake? Matt?
No.
Brian?
Hopefully we get all of these.
Yes.
We're so excited for 2021.
Dude, it is really sad if you go back and listen to episode 98, like the preview show, dude. The way Matt was talking about seeing fucking Top Gun Maverick in the summer and like we're gonna go to the pool all day before, and I'm just like, God, we were so young. So naive.
I seriously think I've aged like 32 years in the year 2020.
You look good.
Thank you.
All right, the second part of our show is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. So, Brian, I know you and I watched one thing together at the end. So we'll just go one thing at a time until we get to the end of these. Matt, what's something you watched since we last spoke?
I only got one thing to talk about, but it's a lot of things. Let me explain. Okay. In 2020, a lot of stuff got fucked up, but actually looking on the bright side, it gave us a lot of cool things. And we don't get to talk sports very often, but I mean, we gave us the Masters in November. NBA playoffs were pretty cool to watch. But was this like the best fucking sports weekend ever, Jeff? You had 3 playoff games on Saturday, NFL, 3 playoff games on Sunday, and then a national championship football game on Monday. I mean, that is, if you're a football nerd, and especially it was snowing where in Texas, like, dude, you just sat inside and from 11 to like midnight, you were watching football Saturday and Sunday. How fucking fun was this?
And on top of all that, Nickelodeon got in on the action.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Nickelodeon broadcast. By the time like I was grilling and I was about 4 beers deep, was about the funnest fucking thing I've seen all weekend too. And they need to. So college football does this, and I don't know if you guys watch this, but they do they do the national championship game on the ESPN, but then on ESPN News, they have like a coach's corner where they break down the plays, and then they have like a pop culture one, which like no one knows anything about football, but it's kind of funny. I love that. I love seeing different dynamics, and that's kind of what we would like to do someday, like have the Bro Force squad do like a national championship game or something. But I I like the Nickelodeon thing. It gives a different spin to it. It's more fun. It's something we haven't seen before. Um,
I'll say this: it was really fun because I didn't care about the game. Like if one of my teams was playing, I would probably get really annoyed with it.
it was the worst game of the weekend too,
Yeah,
easily.
but I thought it
Terrible.
was. Banner, did you get to watch any of it?
No, I didn't get to watch any of it, unfortunately. I really wanted to, but
It would
fates
have been
didn't
right down
align.
your alley. They just tied everything into Nickelodeon somehow, and then they had a girl on there, Gabby. By the way, some of the jokes, especially ones like Matt and Thurman were making in the chat, were just fucking killing me. But I don't know if she's ever seen a football game before, and I'm not complaining because I think that made it awesome to listen to.
Who
Like,
is she?
she's like an actress on some Nickelodeon show, I
Okay.
think.
All right. That's what I thought. I mean, you had Nate Burleson in there, and then another guy.
I thought he did a great job, by the
Yeah,
way.
Nate Burleson's actually he's on a couple ESPN shows. He is good and very articulate.
But he knew
man,
more about Nickelodeon than I thought. Like he knew like all the old shows.
oh yeah, Keenan and Kel, all that. But man, I'll tell you, dude, is like other than that game, every other game was fucking great this weekend of NFL playoff football, and I hope the NFL keeps that. 3 games Saturday and Sunday wild card weekend. Why not?
Yeah, especially after the bowl games, I think it's really smart to just own the weekend.
Yeah.
All right, Banner, what's in your cup?
First thing, went back and revisited with Baby Banner, Hercules animated.
Yes.
Guys, we don't talk about this movie enough.
Have we done a commentary on that? I don't think
No, and I don't know why. The music is great.
Danny DeVito, right?
Danny DeVito is in it.
they're doing a live action with the Russo brothers.
Yeah. Chris Pratt, Anna Kendrick, and Jeff Goldblum, rumored.
Is Jeff Goldblum Hades? Because that is
Yes.
awesome.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I can't confirm nor deny if I made that up or not, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, guys, ton of fun. Music is great. I don't know. You just need to go visit it. It was a good hour and a half.
The soundtrack is really good. Very underrated.
I think Meg is an underrated hot chick for animated. We don't even bring her up.
100%.
She's so thirsty for it too. It's not even funny.
But she's like such a bitch also, which makes her so much hotter.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to like her, but you're forced to.
I know. I like her because she's so uninterested in me.
Yes.
I got some issues. Speaking of Disney, I watched Inside Out for the first time.
Ah, it's good.
And yeah, I mean, really, obviously an interesting concept, which Pixar always does. The voice cast, it was interesting because outside of Amy Poehler, not a lot of like very recognizable names, like maybe Lewis Black and I guess Bill Hader's in it, but it wasn't necessarily that they went for star power, but just really, really good niche casting, I thought. Like Lewis Black playing Anger is like just genius because that's all his stand-up is him screaming. And as Pixar always does, definitely hits like the emotional core that this one though I even felt like more so than other movies, like kids would probably even be able to tell like, oh, this is a little more serious.
I agree. I think first off, Phyllis from The Office is
Sadness.
Sadness. Yeah, really, really good in this. Yeah, I think this is one that I don't want to say Pixar went their bounds on their seriousness and like what it's about. But I think they came really close. I think kids can kind of pick up on like from the beginning. A lot of times in Pixar's, they start off with like a hard topic and then go away from it and ease back into it. I feel like Inside Out, they were always on that hard topic of moving as a child to a new place and trying to become, learn where your place is in a new place. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense?
No, yeah, like how you fit into your new environment. Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Yeah.
I feel tired after listening, talking. I don't know what you're saying.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
I don't know if I'm the problem or you're the problem, but one of us is. My favorite part, and Matt, if you haven't seen it, this is worth watching it alone. At the very end, like the whole movie is about like how this girl, like her emotions work as she's kind of like going through puberty and a big life change.
Oh yeah.
And at the end, it cuts to show you the inside of like a 12-year-old boy's brain when he sees like a girl or like a girl touches his hand for the first time. And all his emotions are just like fucking freaking out, like smashing things and like the computer's on fire. It's just like, yep, I remember that. That roller coaster of emotion.
Still like that.
They're like, she touched her hand, and the guy has like a fire extinguisher trying to put out. I don't know.
What,
He's like,
what should I do next?
Yeah,
Try to kiss her.
So Inside Out was what I would expect from Pixar. Very good. If I ever had to put together my list, I think just probably because it wasn't as funny as some other Pixar movies, it might be the lower half. But as we've said many times, that is a very, very difficult list to climb to the top of. All right, Banner, what else you got?
Next thing I got, we also revisited Tarzan. I think me and Geiger did a commentary on this.
Damn right we did. You can check that out on Broforce Squad right now.
A good one.
Again, guys, just a fun movie. Only thing I'll say is when it first came out, I wanted to skate on the vines and like surfboard on the vines like Tarzan does in that. At 31 years old, I still want to do that.
Really cool how they did that. And Phil Collins, that was when basically like, hey, what 70s star that used to do drugs that doesn't do drugs anymore can we do the soundtrack? Elton John's out. I already did Lion King. Like, let's get Phil Collins.
I liked it. I know you don't like it as much, but I think it's a good soundtrack.
Who doesn't like it?
I don't like Phil Collins.
Oh, really?
Not really. I mean, he's okay. I mean, Elton John's way better. I mean, I'll listen to Elton John. I won't listen to Phil Collins.
The only music I have of his on my iTunes is from Tarzan. Let me just put it that way.
And fun fact, if you haven't seen the commentary, but watch it, didn't he write all those songs at like Christmas one night or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. He wrote, it was one or two of the songs he wrote before a Christmas party, and he was like, hey man, I need you to come over like an hour early. I need you to hear something.
Would that be great? Like he's telling his wife, like, listen, like you got the food taken care of, right? I got to write these songs real quick for this Disney movie that's coming out in like a couple years.
She's like, why is there Coke all over our piano? He's like, because I'm working.
Look, we all have a process. You know that.
Love Tarzan. I watched a movie called About Time. This was on Netflix. This was... I almost tried to hate watch this. Like, I was like, oh, this looks like I'm going to fucking hate it. Put it on. Stars Domhnall Gleeson, who I absolutely despise. He's the redhead who plays General Hux in the Star Wars movies. The only thing I've ever liked him in is Ex Machina with Oscar Isaac. Actually, I forgot they were in that together, too. But I think he pretty much sucks as an actor. And he sucked in this. But the movie's actually kind of cool. The premise is going to sound absolutely batshit ridiculous, but it's like a dramedy. And he plays a person whose dad tells him that whenever the males in their family turn 18, they get the ability to time travel to certain moments in their life and relive these moments. And the movie is basically about him courting Rachel McAdams and kind of how his special ability plays into that. I wouldn't describe it as like a sci-fi movie, though, because they mainly use the time travel element for a little bit of comedic effect, but actually like drama a lot in it. Like he'll go back and if he like messes something up and redo it. And it does kind of make you think, because by the end of his life, he just starts, without spoiling it, he starts reliving days where he had like a bad business meeting, but then he'll go back one time and like, all right, let me actually try and fuck that up worse and just see what happens. Which I would be kind of curious to do. About Time, I don't know, it's kind of long. It's like an hour, 50 minutes. I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend it, but it was okay. If you're a Rachel McAdams head, then I think you'd like it. What else you got, Brian? I'll have the last thing we watched together.
That's all I've got left too.
All right, that brings us to the end of the Protein Shake, where we're going to talk The Bachelor Season 25, Episode 2, starring, of course, our boy Matt James. If you have not seen it, skip ahead like probably a minute and a half. Banner and I are going to briefly spoil it. So, Banner, before we get to, of course, Victoria and the rose ceremony that never ended, I just wrote down one thing about that game, Capture the Heart, which was like Capture the Flag that they played.
Yeah.
To see which group got to go on the date with Matt. What were the rules for that?
I was so fucking confused by that. They're running around in wedding dresses, throwing paint at each other. Like, it didn't even look like they were trying. There was no strategy. They weren't trying to get the heart. And then all of a sudden you got, 12 girls on one heart and this other girls with the other heart. Like, oh, hey, look, we won. Why was nobody trying to tackle that bitch?
Why was the paint even in it? Like, if you got hit with paint, you didn't have to leave, right?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Fuck the paint then. Yeah, just run for the heart. I don't know. It was really disturbing. As someone who gets very competitive, I just didn't think there was any strategy involved, and it wasn't near physical enough. No one
It
threw
was
any
not near
elbows.
physical enough. And some of those girls can throw down.
Oh yeah, I wanted a cat fight to happen for sure, and it would have helped ratings.
Obviously.
I don't have much else to say about this episode, but just your thoughts on the way Victoria acted here. She's obviously a psycho. I think she's playing it up a little bit for the show, and as Matt has pointed out on previous seasons, they make The Bachelor keep the crazy bitch for at least a few weeks for ratings. He obviously didn't want to, but obviously she has an expiration date. When do you think that will come? And do you think she'll do anything specific for Matt to send her home, or do you just think he'll be like, all right, can I let her go now?
Yeah, I think I think this bitch is too crazy. I can't believe you guys even let her on the show. But okay, that's fine. I want to say she's gone this week, but after talking to you off pod, yeah, I think she's got one more rose in her.
Yeah, I do too. She's also just very unattractive.
She is
Which
hands down the most unattractive person there, and it's not even like close. You're not even like, oh, who's the least attractive? I don't know. You could debate it. No, she is a clear bottom of the barrel.
it's a good combination to be the craziest and the least attractive. Bold strategy.
You're gonna get far in life.
All right, last part of our show. Do you hear something in the back?
Whoa, a parrot just went through puberty.
It sounds like you like strain your vocal cords.
I'm out,
They
man. That's
hurt.
3 to 6 right there.
All right, that brings us to the last part of our show, our question and answer segment called "Do You Even Lift, Bruh?" where we ask a question and leave you people with it. And I'm so excited to hear Matt's take on this one. I don't know if you got to see the show notes. I almost hope you haven't. So Collider has reported this week that Brendan Fraser has signed on to the A24 produced film entitled The Whale, set to start production soon. The film follows a man who is succumbed by regret and self-loathing and begins to eat himself to the weight of nearly 500 pounds. Now, A24 has done films such as Hereditary and Midsommar, and I believe they produced Jordan Peele's 2 films as well. So this is not going to be a comedy. This is going to be a very dark and brooding look at self-loathing and obesity. And Brendan Fraser has been cast. So, Matt, I'll give you a second to compose your thoughts. Banner, what do you think of this news that dropped just a few days ago?
I'm surprised they cast Brendan Fraser in this.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
I mean, he's gonna have to lose like 25 pounds to
Okay.
to be there.
That is such a low blow.
Jesus Christ. The guy like literally has no career now, and Banner in his garage because his wife kicked him out of the house because he's too loud and drunk during pod is taking shots at him.
I'm
It's
glad they didn't
disgusting.
cast Christian Bale because he would have been like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna go method, fuck the fat suit. And they'd be like, Christian, you can't gain 270 pounds in 4 months. We'd be like, oh, then I'll do it in 3 months. And he would kill himself trying to.
I can see Brendan Fraser basically like, I'll do anything to get back in Hollywood. It's like, okay, you got to gain like 300 pounds. He's like,
With all that
really?
being
Like, there's
said,
no other way.
I
We
actually
can't do George of the Jungle 2.
Oh my
I'm
God,
actually kind of
that-
interested in this though, in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean,
All
anytime,
joking aside,
Can he act?
I mean, we're gonna find out, but no.
I, like, literally, there's some of his movies, like, I'm surprised. Like, would it surprise you if they made a Bedazzled 2?
I would love to see Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled too.
Or fucking like, you know, George of the Jungle 2? Why not?
Blast from the Past too.
You know, he's in Crash and he's actually decent in that. I don't want to say he's good.
That's his best film though, right? Like that's his best role.
The last time I saw Brendan Fraser, and this is
Funny.
this is back when Washington football team was still called the Redskins. But I don't know if you guys so Hatfields and McCoys, which is a great fucking show that Discovery Channel did with Kevin Costner and Bill Paxton. So they decided to do one on the Alamo, and the Native American was played by Brendan Fraser. And I remember looking at the trailer and being like, why though?
Oh boy,
Yeah, that makes sense.
if I'm a
Well,
Native
this was
American
back,
actor,
Jeff,
I'm
when you
pissed.
could have got Momoa for cheap.
Yeah,
He was a nobody.
Wow, they probably could have got Momoa for less than they paid Brendan Fraser, and that's why execs lose jobs, folks. I think the title, The Whale, is like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I feel like just because of the title and then what it's about, they're gonna bring some heat, and it's gonna be pretty good.
I thought when I read that, I was like, so he's playing Captain Ahab? Like, what is this?
So what are we gonna do if he gets like an Oscar nomination for this? What if this is his like? I know this didn't happen, so it's not an apples to apples. But what if it's like his uncut gems?
Dude, if they didn't let
So
Sandler on
nobody
the
else is gonna
carpet,
see it?
I was about to say that, Jeff. They didn't let Sandler on the carpet that year. There's no way they're going to let Brendan Fraser in the door of the Oscars.
But I think the difference is Sandler has purposely made a joke of filmmaking. Brendan Fraser just doesn't have talent and hasn't been able to make movies.
He was in Encino Man. There's no way they're going to let him in there.
They might.
And he was the caveman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was good in that. Everybody loves Encino Man.
He was a caveman, Vanner. I mean,
I'll say this: we make fun of it, but we all know we're interested in seeing what this looks like.
I'll watch it. I mean, it's basically going to be like a supersized me where I feel disgusted after watching it, and I just want to eat fruits and vegetables for 2 weeks. So
I know. I'll
maybe I should, because why didn't they cast me? Just Mom's banging the table like, why don't you cast Geiger? He's like the fattest POS I've ever seen.
Maybe
because they could get Brendan Fraser cheaper.
Your friends are hearing this news, Matt, saying maybe this is the wake up call Matt needs.
Yeah, maybe I need to watch it. I'll probably watch it and be like, Jesus Christ, I think I'm in better shape than this guy.
After this movie comes out, gym memberships and juice cleanse diets will go up like 800%.
They'll go up higher than they do when they do in January.
See, I don't like watching movies like this. Like you guys know on what's the America's Most Wanted, that show with Steve Avery, whatever the fuck that's called, Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer.
I couldn't watch that when I was eating. His family and everyone just made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They're just like,
I don't know,
overweight and gross, and they make me sad. I feel like horrible bosses.
I need you to trim the fat.
Get rid of fat people. Well, they're fat. And they're sad. And they make me sad to look at. I don't know when I'm gone.
All right, just thought that was interesting news, and obviously anything involving Brendan Fraser getting a role I mean, we're happy for him. You know, I know he listens to the podcast. I actually think he lives right below. Well, I guess Joel Schumacher passed away, but
Brandon Roth is running his spare room out to him.
What would be great is if he eats and then they just decide not to make the movie. Didn't that happen to Joe Pesci or somebody?
It sounds right.
Yeah.
They were going to play, maybe it was an Al Capone movie or something where they made him gain a ton of weight and they just decided not to do it.
What a great practical joke. All right. Anything we want to leave the people with for our 2021 movie preview show, Brian?
Just pull over for emergency vehicles, please.
Always good advice. Matt, how about you?
Let's have a good year, y'all. I mean, last year we said it, but this year let's really try to mean it.
This is like in the pickup game when you're like down 7. You're like, you want to play for real now?
Like, come on. Just be better this year.
Yes, please. And let's hope that all these movies actually fucking come out, because if they don't,
maybe not all of them, but most of them.
As long as Fast 9 comes out, we're good. No one mentioned that in any category. Good. Just leave it alone. Let it run its course. It's not hurting anybody. All right. For the Enforcer in the Paint, Matt Geiger, and the Mad Scientist, Brian Banner, I'm the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you pretty much find your podcasts if you type in Bro Force Squad as 3 words. But the main place to check us out is our website, broforcesquad.com. We have a squad blog up there, which is a pretty interesting read. Cycly just wrote a really good squad blog post about his favorite courtroom movie. Yeah. It's a good one.
I'm sure it is.
Till next time, we'll hopefully see you at the movies in 2020. That's fictitious fuck. He wrote at the end, from the death.
You know who paid for that fucking text?
Like he had his assistant write it.
It's like, read that back to me.